Another game with my off-the-wall, off-the-grid Weyland deck, and I'm facing out against yet another Reina Roja. Getting annoying. Alright, so I mulligan into a decent hand with a hedge fund, which is all I need to start the game. But there's no other ice, so I think about it and I realize that I do have an Amazon Industrial Zone in my hand. Yep, that's a new card that I've added into my arsenal. Amazon Industrial Zone on HQ can really do a lot of work if the runner does not make it into HQ. And even now, Amazon Industrial Zone costs 4 to rest, and the first piece of ice I install with it, Hive, already offsets this by 3. So essentially I'm paying 1 more than I should have if I'm resing the Hive normally. And for trashing, the runner has to pay 2 to trash, so it's already worth it. If I can install and res even more ice, Amazon Industrial Zone looks better and better. Of course, the biggest problem with Amazon Industrial Zone is that it negates the surprise factor of your ice. So no more surprise archers or surprise toll booths. But most of my ice are just hard enderruns. So yeah, they're just gigantic, big, fat enderruns. So I'm usually fine with it. Alright, I draw into a very nice early game ice in the form of Caduceus, and so it goes on R&D. I need to protect R&D now because he already scored an agenda. I don't want him pulling out any agendas to win quickly. So what he does is to quickly install Corroder and account siphon me, even though I only have 3 credits. His main goal here clearly is to keep me dirt poor, which is a good idea, except that he's playing against Weyland, so I'm not sure if he's worried about Scorched Earth. It looks like he isn't at all. He has 3 cards in hand, and he's tagged. If I have a single Scorched Earth, that won't happen. I need to click 3 times to draw 3 credits, so yeah, Scorched Earth isn't a possibility now. But anyway, he continues to float tags apparently. And all I can do is to slowly click for credits, which is definitely not something Weyland wants to do. So he begins to keyhole me into Oblivion, and I cannot rest the Caduceus because he just bankrupted me. So he ran twice with keyhole, and I believe both times he didn't see an agenda. However, both times he trashed a toll booth. So 2 of my 3 toll booths are already in my trash. That is a very bad feeling. So, I'm up to 5 credits after clicking twice, and I trashed another one of my big ice, Hadrian's Wall. Alright, time to activate my Caduceus. It's a nice early game ice that will punish runners, and possibly, it's cheap to res considering that there's the give credits back trace. But he chooses to reinforce the trace. So he's left with 1 credit and with 1 link. Since the end runs a trace 2, I might as well boost it to a trace 3 to force him out of my server. I don't want him to get a single keyhole in, find a 3-pointer, and get on match point immediately. That would be bad for me. My goal right now is to get to 10 credits ASAP to get my restructure going. That's the only concern on my mind. I've bled a lot of credits to account siphon and Reina Roja's ID ability, which is definitely starting to feel painful. Oh great, I find my medical research fundraiser. The one card that can bring me from 3 credits to 16 within a single turn. I fundraise myself to 9 credits, click for a credit, and restructure all the way to 16. Only medical research fundraiser can do that. That felt so great pulling it off. Of course, Reina Roja is more than happy with the extra credits to siphon me once again. Now he has enough credits to break through that Hive. The good thing about him constantly siphoning me is that he's not actually accessing cards in HQ or trashing my Amazon Industrial Grid, both of which would be disastrous outcomes. He's just making me less rich and he's gaining more credits. No big deal. So I get my Jackson out, which would hopefully counter his keyhole, and he does his 3rd account siphon. Well, what am I to do? I'll just let him pull that off. And he runs my Jackson, at which point I reshuffle in some money, and the 2 toll booths that were trashed, because I want my toll booths. Toll booths are so important against NUP, especially one that already has a Corroder out. Even if he throws a Knight out, which I believe he has, it will still cost him 5 to get through. Whereas a Hive will die down, it will become useless towards the late game. So that's a problem for me. Alright. I guess I continue to make a bit of money. And he finally plays his plus creed, but he really has nothing to worry about because I don't run Scorched Earth, and he should be seeing that from all his key holding. Anyway, he scores government contracts, putting him at match point. I'm in trouble now. So I need to get my money up, and I need to start protecting my servers, especially R&D. If he holds even one more time successfully, I'm a goner. The good thing is that I have no agenda squad. Well, that's not a very good thing, but at least that means I have a full hive working for me. So all my hives cost him 6 credits to break, which is quite a lot to ask from a Reina Roja. Even one that has account siphoned me twice. Getting through is not cheap. I installed the curtain wall over archives as a deterrence factor. So even if he somehow manages to, even if he makes a KO run, which is still possible, it only costs him 7 to get through the server, though he doesn't know that yet. If he makes a KO run and finds an agenda, he would still have to think about dealing with the ice that's over archives. So I hope that he doesn't find an agenda now, but he gets through with his keyhole run. Even though I force the ice wall res, he still gets through, and he doesn't find an agenda. So he cannot run archives. If he found an agenda there, he would have run and it would have been game over for him. He installs a Joshua B. I didn't notice that, and I didn't trash the Joshua B. A small mistake there. Alright, so I'm happy to see a hedge fund. Now I'm thinking of where I should put my hive. I decided to put it on R&D, make it taxing, and there goes the hedge fund. So now I can properly stop keyhole runs. He continues leveraging on getting more money, and now I remember to trash the Joshua B. He forgot to use it last turn, another minor mistake. Alright, I'm very happy that I secured all 3 Project Atlases early on. These are the easiest agendas to score by far with Off The Grid, because they are the only agendas besides Corporate War, which is stole, that I can install Off The Grid and Project Atlas in the same turn. Whereas for Priority Rec and government contracts, I can't do that. I need to install Off The Grid on turn 1, and then install Advance, the 5-pointer the next turn. Alright, so toll booth. Yes, res the toll booth on HQ. Try getting in now. Alright, so I feel pretty confident on the defense of my HQ. It costs 6 credits to break the hive, 1 credit for the ice wall, and 5 for the toll booth with a knight on it. So that's 12 credits. He won't get there anytime soon. Meanwhile, he's not having much luck. He tried to access archives and saw nothing. Meanwhile, I'm drawing to more ice. I'm wishing that I get credits instead. I need my economic operations to guarantee that I can start scoring agendas with Off The Grid. 6 res cost of Off The Grid is still too much for me. Meanwhile, a toll booth goes on archives, so if he does make it through R&D, I'll at least be able to keep him out a hard way with the toll booth. Because I'm not looking to res curtain wall with costing 15 credits. No way in hell am I going to do that. So I find myself trashing all my Hadrian's Wall because, yeah, Hadrian's Wall, it's not doing that much for me. It costs twice as much to res as a hive, and it taxes for roughly the same amount right now, so I don't really need my Hadrian's Wall. Alright, so he keyholes my R&D to close the game. I have the option of raising the hive here, but I choose not to, because raising the hive will keep him out, but I'd rather him trash agendas into archives and protect archives with a toll booth. Yes, it's kind of risky because he can still get through the toll booth with a knight, but I felt that this was the better way of doing it. And turns out that he didn't see an agenda while keyholding this run either, so good for me. Well, but it seems like his main purpose was to install the data leak reversal and mill some cards into my archives, all of which were not agendas. Actually, I think there was an agenda. Yes, there was a priority requisition in the archives, so Jackson goes on the board and is ready to fish it back. Now I draw into my medical Research Fundraiser. Again, not too happy about giving him extra credits, but I need the credit boost myself. So now I'm up to 19 credits, and at this point I feel safe. I feel comfortable with scoring agendas. I'm able to score all 3 agendas and rest off the grid. Meanwhile, he runs my Jackson, so I reshuffle in some agendas. And the last Jackson Howard in my deck. At this point, my deck has about 10 cards left. Yep. But if he doesn't do anything else, I'm looking to start pumping out agendas. He continues power drawing. I'm not sure what he's looking for. I guess it's a parasite to break the hive down. Alright, I see a very welcome side restructure. Now I have enough credits to deal with many things. I begin with a simple Atlas. Here we go. Game on. Yep, he definitely wasn't very prepared for this. And he cannot get through HQ easily. He has only 5 credits. There's definitely no way he's getting through HQ. What can he do? I guess he can only have mass economy. And sure he does. He gets 3 credits and continues drawing. So now I can score my Atlas, which is very important. Finally, I'll get on the board and I can actually start threatening game. Nope, I do not score it. I leave it at 3 advancement tokens. This is very important when playing a deck like mine. Because I know of that my remote is guaranteed safety. And if he breaks through HQ, he wins the game anyway. So I don't really care. Yep. So what I do is I leave Atlas on the board for 1 more turn so that the Hive subroutines will still remain at 5. Only when I really have to score it, just so I can make way for my Priority Rec, do I score it, which drops my Hive down to 3 subroutines. And now that I scored the Priority Requisition, my Hives are all useless now. The Priority Requisition, I used it to res Curtain Wall, so he cannot get in at all into Archives if he chooses to keyhole me. So that buys me a lot of security. He plays the same old thing, which is a no-brainer. I'll definitely go trash that. I'm looking to score my game-winning agenda now. See, this is the advantage of having all my Atlases in hand right at the start of the game. It only takes me 1 click to install the Atlas, and with 2 other clicks, I can do lots of things. In this case, I gain money and trash the same old thing. I'm threatening game win in 1 turn. He's in trouble. So, even if he makes a successful run through R&D, which he will, I don't really care, because he cannot get through Archives. But I forgot that HQ was so porous. Hive is useless. Ice Wall breaks for 1. And now, with the knight that I knew he had, he's going to break through Tobu for 5. That's it. Game over. He runs through HQ, breaks Tobu, breaks Ice Wall, and he accesses the server, simultaneously trashing my off the grid, but he doesn't need to run into my remote because he scored an Atlas from my hand to win the game. So yes, that was a huge misplay by me, definitely a gross misplay. Why on earth did I rush so much? I could have waited a little more. And I definitely should have seen that my HQ was way too vulnerable. Big mistake there. I had a toll booth in hand. If I had spent the next turn installing that toll booth on HQ, deleting the useless Hive and Ice Walls that were there instead, things would have turned out so much differently. And since I had Amazon Industrial Zone on HQ as well, the cost of installing that toll booth would be greatly offset as well. So I would still be in a great economic position to score my last Atlas. Yes, it's so terrible because I really want to know would I have won the game had I installed that toll booth. I think that I had a good shot of doing so. Oh well, too late to harbor any regrets. I guess I'm still learning how to play this deck. And at the end of this game, I told my opponent, I wish I had packed Scorched Earth. This is the second game I played, and both times I wish that I had Scorched Earth to deal with the nasty account siphons that were running rampant. Oh well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this game. See you around.